Imagine waking up one day and realizing your life is not random at all. It's a perfectly logical result of three things: what you take in, what you put out, and the invisible loops connecting the two. Every video you watch, every conversation, every snack, every tweet, every late night scroll, all of it is shaping where you end up 5 years from now. Most people try to change their life by setting goals, forcing discipline, or hyping themselves up, but they never audit the system that actually produces their reality. That's like repainting a car while the engine is falling apart. In this video, we're going to run a reality audit. You'll map your inputs, outputs, and loops so clearly that your current results will finally make sense, maybe uncomfortably so. Then, we'll tweak the system, not just your willpower. Grab a notebook. By the end, you'll have a one-page map of how your life is really being created. Before we change anything, we need to see what's actually going on. Today isn't about judging yourself, it's about measuring reality. Think of this as an engineer's walkthrough of your life. What's entering your mind, what you're creating, and the loops repeating in the background. We'll break the video into 3 parts: mapping inputs, mapping outputs, and then connecting them into loops. Along the way, I'll give you prompts and simple templates you can adapt. You don't need any special software. A notebook or notes app is perfect. If you care about designing your life instead of drifting, you're in the right place. I make deep dive videos exactly on this kind of systems thinking and practical self-improvement. So if this resonates, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss future breakdowns. And stay with me to the end, because we'll build your entire reality audit on one clear screenshotable page you can revisit weekly. Let's start with inputs, the raw material of your mind and behavior. Inputs are anything that enters your awareness and nervous system. Content, conversations, food, environments, even your own thoughts. Here's your first exercise. On a blank page, right at the top, inputs, last 7 days. Create 4 columns: digital, people, environment, body. Under digital, list social media, YouTube, podcasts, news, games. Under people, list who you've interacted with most, by name or role. Environment, places you've spent time: home, office, commute, cafes. Body, sleep, food, movement, substances. Don't aim for perfect accuracy, aim for honest patterns. What gets the most hours? What's intense, even if brief? Circle anything that gives you a strong emotional charge: doom scrolling, arguments, junk food, or even inspiring books. You're not changing anything yet. You're just building a raw input inventory so you can finally see what's feeding your system every single day. Now let's make that input list more precise by tagging each item. At the top of a new page, write input quality. Copy over the main inputs from your previous list, but leave space beside each. You'll rate each input on 3 dimensions: energy, emotion, and direction. Energy. Does this leave you more energized? Plus, neutral, 0, or drained? Emotion. Does it mostly trigger calm, curiosity, stress, envy, anger, or inspiration? Direction. Does it move you toward your values and goals? T, away from them. A, or sideways. S, just noise. Example: TikTok, energy. S, emotion, envy, stress. Direction: A. Or deep work session, energy plus later. Emotion, challenging but satisfying. Direction: T. Don't overthink it. Use your gut. The goal is to stop treating all inputs as equal. 5 minutes of focused reading and 5 minutes of doom scrolling are both time spent, but they create completely different downstream realities. This is how we start seeing that inputs are half the story. Now we look at outputs, what you actually produce in the world. Most people underestimate how powerful it is to deliberately shape what they output. On a new page, write outputs, last 7 days. Create 3 columns: work, relationships, self. Work, projects completed, tasks shipped, messages sent, decisions made, relationships, conversations that mattered, support given, conflicts, appreciation expressed. Self, journaling, workouts, creative efforts, skills practiced. Again, you're not tracking microscopic detail. You're capturing the main things that left a footprint. What got done? What improved even slightly? What did you express, say, decide, or create? Notice any mismatch between how busy you felt and how much you actually produced that matters. That gap is often where low-quality inputs and broken loops hide. Outputs are the receipts of your life. They show what your inputs and loops are really doing once they pass through you. With outputs listed, we'll tag them the same way. Title this page, Output Impact. Copy your key outputs and add 3 tags: scale, alignment, and compounding. Scale. Does this impact just you? 1, your immediate circle. 2, or many people. 3+. Alignment. Does it reflect your values and long-term goals? YNM for mixed. Compounding. Will this make future work easier, faster, or more valuable? C, or is it a one-off? O. For example, replying to low-priority emails might be scale 1, alignment N, compounding O. Meanwhile, publishing an article could be scale 3, alignment Y, compounding C. It builds reputation and future opportunities. This is where you often see something uncomfortable. Tons of time going to low scale, low alignment, non-compounding outputs. That's the mark of a system reacting to inputs instead of creating deliberately. Hold that tension. We'll use it to redesign your loops instead of blaming your motivation. Now we connect inputs and outputs with arrows. That's where loops live. Title this page, Loops, What Feeds What. On the left side, list a few high-frequency inputs. On the right, list notable outputs. Draw arrows from each input to any output it clearly influences. Example: late night YouTube, groggy morning, low focus work, procrastinated project. That's a negative loop. Or morning walk plus podcast, new idea, shared with team, improved process. That's a positive loop. For now, describe loops in plain language. Start with 3 categories: energy loops, how physical state cycles; attention loops, where focus keeps returning; and social loops, how people around you reinforce patterns. The moment you write a loop and think, oh, that's why this keeps happening, you're doing this right. We're exposing the hidden machinery driving your days, instead of treating every unproductive day like a mysterious failure of willpower. Let's go deeper on negative loops, the ones quietly sabotaging you. On a new page, write negative loops. Underneath, create 3 sections: trigger, routine, reward. Pick one recurring problem: scrolling too much, avoiding hard tasks, staying up late, snapping at people. Ask, what's the trigger? Boredom, stress, time of day, specific app. What's the routine? Exact behavior pattern. What's the reward? Escape, stimulation, feeling in control, avoiding discomfort. For each loop, add hidden cost. What does this loop slowly erode? Sleep, confidence, financial health, trust, focus. Example: trigger, anxiety. Routine, check social media. Reward, distraction, social proof. Hidden cost, delayed work, more anxiety, poor sleep. Don't moralize, diagnose. These loops were built to solve a problem, usually short-term emotional discomfort. We'll keep the useful part and redesign the rest, instead of just trying to stop without an alternative structure. Positive loops are your unfair advantages. They quietly create momentum and reduce the need for willpower. On a new page, write positive loops. Same structure: trigger, routine, reward. But this time, we're hunting for loops that already work. Think about days that felt smooth and effective. What happened before your best work, best mood, or best decisions? Maybe waking up at a consistent time, prepping your workspace, a specific playlist, a walk, journaling, or texting a supportive friend. Example: trigger, open notebook at breakfast. Routine, jot 3 priorities. Reward, clarity, reduced stress. Hidden benefit, workday feels designed, not reactive. Document at least 3 positive loops, even if they seem small. Micro loops like make bed, feel ordered, easier to sit and write matter because they're stackable. Our goal later will be to amplify and chain these together so your default day is pulled forward by good loops instead of dragged backward by bad ones. Now we'll create your one-page reality audit dashboard. Take a fresh page and divide it into 3 horizontal bands: inputs, loops, outputs. In the inputs band, list your top 5 highest volume inputs, plus any that are especially intense. Mark each with plus or 0 for net effect. In the loops band, write your 2 strongest negative loops and 2 strongest positive loops in short phrases. Example: stress, scroll, delay, more stress, and walk, ideas, share, appreciation. In the outputs band, list your top 3 high-impact outputs from the last month and 3 low-impact time sinks. Step back and literally look at the page. That's the current engine of your life, on paper. Is it any surprise you feel the way you feel or get the results you get? Keep this page visible. We'll now start making small surgical changes that ripple through the entire system instead of trying to overhaul everything overnight. We start redesigning with inputs because they're the easiest lever. You can't directly control outputs or feelings, but you can curate what reaches you. On your dashboard, circle 2 negative inputs with high frequency and high emotional charge. Then circle 2 positive inputs that consistently lead to good loops. For each negative input, define a friction plan. Delete the app from your phone, move it off the home screen, set screen time limits, or restrict usage to a specific time block on a different device. Make the unhelpful input slightly harder to access. For each positive input, define a support plan. Schedule it, prep for it, make it the default. That might mean leaving a book on your pillow, prepping gym clothes, or pinning a learning tab in your browser. You're not aiming for perfection. You're shifting probabilities. A 20% change in inputs can generate disproportionately large changes in loops over a few weeks. Next, we'll rewrite one negative loop using a technique from habit design. Keep the trigger and reward. Swap the routine. Pick one loop from your negative loops page. Example: trigger, work stress. Routine, junk snack plus social media. Reward, distraction and comfort. Ask, what alternative routine could deliver a similar reward with fewer hidden costs? Maybe 5-minute walk, glass of water, 2 deep breaths, then a 2-minute next action on the stressful task. Write it like code. When I feel trigger instead of old routine, I will new routine to get reward. Keep it tiny and realistic. Then design a prompt. Sticky note on your monitor, reminder on your phone, calendar block named after the new loop. You're not erasing the loop, you're evolving it. Same emotional need, upgraded behavior. Over time, this becomes your new automatic pattern, especially if the reward genuinely feels good. Finally, let's build a weekly reality audit review so this doesn't stay a one-time exercise. Set a recurring 20-30 minute block in your calendar, same day, same time. Your review has 5 quick steps. 1. Inputs. Scan the week. What crept back in? What new positive input helped? 2. Outputs. What meaningful things did you ship or improve? Any empty busyness? 3. Loops. Did your redesigned loop fire? Where did the old pattern win? 4. Adjust. Pick one input to nudge and one loop to refine next week. 5. Intent. Write a 2-sentence summary. This week, my system will support X by doing Y. That's it. No dramatic resets, no self-loathing, just steady system calibration. Reality audits compound. Over months, you'll notice fewer mystery bad days and more predictably good ones. Not because you became superhuman, but because your life's engine is finally tuned on purpose. Let's zoom out and consolidate what you've built. First, you mapped your inputs: digital, people, environment, and body, then tagged them by energy, emotion, and direction. You realize not all minutes are equal. Some inputs quietly tax you, others compound. Second, you listed your outputs: work, relationships, and self, then evaluated them by scale, alignment, and compounding power. You probably saw how much effort goes into things that don't really move the needle. Third, you exposed your loops, The repeating chains where specific triggers, routines, and rewards generate predictable results, good and bad. Then you turned all of this into a one-page dashboard, pruned a few high-cost inputs, amplified a few high-value ones, and rewrote at least one negative loop by swapping the routine, not the emotional need. Finally, you created a weekly reality audit review so this becomes an ongoing process, not a one-off burst of motivation. Now it's your turn to actually run this, not just understand it intellectually. Here's your immediate action plan. 1. Pause the video after this and spend 10-15 minutes doing a rough input and output inventory. 2. Identify one negative loop and rewrite it using the trigger routine reward formula. 3. Create your first one-page reality audit dashboard and pin it somewhere visible. Then commit to a single weekly review for the next 4 weeks. That consistency will show you whether this framework actually changes your days. If this walkthrough helped you see your life more clearly, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. This channel is all about building practical systems like this for thinking, working, and living better. Drop a comment with one loop you're rewriting. It might inspire someone else. And if you want a follow-up video where we build a digital version of this dashboard, let me know below. I'll see you in the next one.